Well, hello there, and welcome back to Mr. E's Mysteries and Magics, brought to you by RP Magic Shop. Their website is listed below. Check them out. You're going to want to sign up for their free newsletter because they always have things on sale every month, and you're going to want to keep in touch with those and know what they are because you just might find what you're looking for at a really, really good price. So anyway, check them out. We're going to do the tutorial for the sandwich throw. We're going to continue to use the Boston Red Sox cards, even though, since I did the demonstration video, Major League Baseball has announced that instead of doing a 70-game season, they are going to do a 60-game season. So it gets more and more ridiculous and completely pointless, and they shouldn't even bother. But we're going to stick with the baseball cards. All right, so what are we doing here? All right, well, you may recall the card that was chosen in the demo was the Ace of Spades. Now, that was a free choice in the demo. If you're doing some other magic effect that requires you to do a force, that's perfectly fine. You can do that too. Doesn't matter whether it's a force or a free choice. Just so happens that we did it as a free choice. What you do need to do is control the card to the bottom of the deck. And since this is basically for beginners, I will give a very simple way to do that. Any way that you want to do a control to the bottom is up to you. It doesn't really matter. This is my favorite way to do it. Simply take the card back from the spectator, put it about halfway into the deck, doesn't have to be exact, and leave it slightly in-jogged. This is known as an in-jog. When the card is partly out toward the magician, it's an in-jog. This is called a side jog, and this is called an out jog. So you're going to want the card a little bit, just give it a little bit of an in jog, because what you're going to do is you're going to take your thumb, grab the bottom of that in jog, and what that's going to do is it's going to create a gap. You're not going to lift it up all the way like I am here, but it's going to create a gap right there. And that's what you want. You want to hold a break right there. You're going to want to hide this break from your spectators, so watch your angles. Take some of the cards, put them on top, and then drop the rest that are left below that break and put them on top. And what you end up with is your Ace of Spades will be on the bottom, or whatever the chosen card is. Of course, here the Ace of Spades. Now, at this point, if you want, you can do a controlled shuffle, and it is the easiest controlled shuffle in the world because all you have to do is take whichever half of the deck has the bottom card, the card that you're interested in, the Ace of Spades here, and make sure you drop that down first. That's it. That's the simplest controlled shuffle you'll ever have. You can do that a million times. Anyone can do it. Doesn't take any practice at all. It's still there on the bottom where it belongs. And if you want to do a false cut, you can do that too. I'm not going to do one here, but if you want to add a false cut into your repertoire later, this is the time to do it. So anyway, when we did the original, we also pulled the Two of Hearts off the top, and we said, is that your card? And they said no. We put it aside, and then we took the the Eight of Spades, and said, is that your card? And they said, no, that's not my card. And we took that, and I took these two cards, and what I like to do, I like to take the higher value card, put it on the bottom. No particular reason for doing that, just what I prefer. And then I leave the bottom card side jogged out a little bit with the disclaimer that, all right, I'm going to leave this out where you can see it so that you can see I'm not doing anything to the card itself, and you can see both of the cards that we took off the top. Of course, I'm lying because I am doing something to the cards on the bottom, and what I'm doing is I'm applying a little bit of pressure on that chosen card with mostly my middle finger, but also to some degree my index finger. And then you go through the routine about, yeah, we've got 52 cards, and only 3 of them matter, so we got to get rid of 49 cards. What do you do with useless stuff? Because those 49 cards are useless. What are you going to do with junk that you can't use? You throw it away. And when you keep the pressure just right, it will automatically, without even thinking, give you the 3 cards that you want. And then you do the reveal, and there's the chosen card. Now, let me give you just a couple of quick tips when you do that. Tip number 1, when you throw the cards, keep the chosen card, face down for just a brief moment before you lift it up. You could do it all in one movement, but you want to keep this card face down for one very good reason, which I will explain in a moment. Keep it face down, and if everything is good, you can just bring it up right away, and you're good to go. The reason for holding them face down is when you throw the card, you will occasionally end up with a situation like this where you have two cards sandwiched in like this. Okay, now I will admit this has happened to me. All right, it's going to happen to you. You might even have three. If that happens, it really doesn't matter, because what you're going to do to get yourself out of this is the same thing. First of all, what you have to know is the chosen card will always be the face down card on the magician's right. It will always be there, because it is always going to be right above the face up card on the bottom. So this card will always be right here, the chosen card. So at this point, it's very simple. You simply give your spectators a choice. Pick one of the two cards, or if there's more than one, just you do the more than two, you do the routine more than once. So in this case, pick one card. If they pick this card, you say fine, we'll get rid of it, and boom. And if they pick their card, if they point to this card, you say fine, that's your card right there. All right. Now the reason for leaving them face down at this point is if you end up with a situation like this, you don't want to hold the cards up and show them their card when you're about to tell them to choose one of the two cards. I wouldn't say that's suspicious, but it is amateurish. So just leave it face down. If you get it done perfectly, you can just lift it right up immediately. If you have two or more cards, you go into the Magician's Choice routine until you end up with just their card left, or they point to their card, doesn't really matter, and then you do the reveal that way. That's all there is to it, okay? That is the sandwich throw as I do it. I hope that if you are a beginner that you will use this to start your magic career. If you're someone who has been doing magic for a while, I hope that you incorporate this into some more elaborate tricks, because it's a really great way to do a reveal, because it always leaves them baffled.